Hello, Ellen G here. Thank you so much for stopping by my little corner of the internet. I am here to talk to you about everything health and wellness for really busy people. You know who you are. You're out there climbing the career ladder, building businesses, taking care of a home and family, trying to have a social life, and just do all of the exciting things that we love to do to make our lives full. But sometimes find that self care, that means putting you on your daily to do list, is a challenge. So it is my passion to show you and help you learn how you can thrive both personally and professionally. So, if you are new to my channel, thank you so much. Welcome, and I hope that you will find the next few minutes incredibly valuable. And if you do, make sure that you subscribe down below before you take off for the day so that you'll be alerted when new videos come up. And if you've been here before, if you are one of my subscribers and my listeners, thank you so much for joining me again today. And you may have noticed that I've been MIA, a little bit missing in action over the last few months. This is actually the first time in quite a long time that I created some new video content. And I missed it, and I'm excited to be back and doing so again. In thinking about what I should talk to you about in this welcome back video, I realized that probably something that would be very helpful is to actually share with you why I've been MIA. How come I haven't been able to find the time to create this new video on an ongoing basis for you? So one of my very favorite topics is the work-life balance. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I really dislike that terminology because I personally don't believe that life-work balance exists. Why? Balance implies that it's equal, that during your days you will have an equal amount of time to devote to your professional life and an equal amount of time for your personal life. Rarely does that happen. And boy, oh boy, for me in the last couple of months, the scale really tipped and took my focus and attention to my personal life. So much so that it was a challenge to keep the professional life going on a steady basis. So that's why I just don't believe that life-work balance exists, but I do believe that we can strive for life-work harmony. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that and what I mean by that, but I think it will become clear as I kind of share with you just a little bit about why it's been so crazy for me over the last few months. So, as if dealing with a world pandemic was not enough, if that didn't shake things up, several months ago, I got a call and found out that my elderly mom who lives in Florida, and I do mean elderly, she just turned 100, but a few months ago I got a phone call that she was going to be needing some minor surgery, a medical procedure that, at her age could be incredibly risky. And I just knew that I had to drop what was going on, and despite the pandemic, I, take that trip to Florida, be there with my dad, who is also gratefully still with us, be there with him to help him get through the time that she was going to be going through this procedure. Be there with her. I just could not let them do this on their own. And so off I went to Florida in the middle of a pandemic. We got through that, and thankfully she did really well, and she is doing okay. So that was great. But right after that, you can't even believe it, but they found out that they had a massive amount of mold in their apartment. Don't let me go through all the ugly details, but basically we had to first move them out of their bedroom and eventually move them out of the apartment, and we did this all long distance until that could be remedied, and it took months and months and months, and it was a lot of work and a lot of attention that needed to be played in that direction. If that wasn't enough, we were faced with the realization that we were going to have to postpone my daughter's wedding. that to have the kind of wedding that she and her fiance were dreaming of, it just couldn't happen right now. So we went into the mode of let's accept that we have to postpone it. Let's start thinking about when we could postpone it until, and even that was just such a who knows with what's going on. But we did it. We talked to the venues and the vendors and everything else and made new contracts and let our friends and our family know. And we got through it. And so now we're looking forward to the end of this year. Please, please let the pandemic have settled down and those two can have the wedding of their dreams. So that was going on. And then, of course, when thankfully the vaccines came out, we were all juggling how to make appointments. Again, for my mom and dad who are in Florida and away from us, trying to get online and help them negotiate getting an appointment to get vaccinated. And we are so blessed that we also have my in-laws with us, and they too needed our assistance. So needless to say, the last few months have been insane, and lots, probably most of my attention has been turned when I was not directly working with a business client. My attention has been turned to my personal life. So, how did I get through it? How did I manage to keep that balance? Well, harmony. Let's call it harmony, because it certainly wasn't balanced. Keep that kind of feeling of harmony on a day-to-day and a week-to-week basis. Know that I will get through. Know that my business will survive. How did I do that? I think the way that I did could be really helpful for you so that when your life takes turns in one direction or the other, sometimes it's the business that calls you in that direction and you've got to pay attention and your personal life starts to get a little neglected. So how do we get through these periods of time? World pandemic or not, our lives are always shifting. Sometimes our professional life requires lots more attention, lots more focus, and is really eating up our time. And then there's times like what I just went through, where our personal life is calling our attention and in need of us to be engaged and barely paying attention to the professional side. We all have times like this, and I believe that there is a system that you can follow to make it just a bit easier. The first is acceptance. We have to accept that, again, life-work balance does not exist, but we can strive for life-work harmony. And what I mean by that is that at the end of the day, at the end of a week, or the end of a month or a year, when we look at our lives, we're making beautiful music. So I want you to think about a symphony playing a song. There are numerous instruments, and they can each represent a part of your life. During that symphony, there are times when one instrument is way louder than the other. Sometimes it's the strings that are taking over. Other times it's the percussions or the horns or the piano. But at the end of that symphony, it made beautiful music. That's what I want for my life. Yes, there will be times where one segment of my life requires much more attention than others, and I just accept that as long as I keep checking in to make sure that life is in harmony. If it's not, well, then I've got some course correction to do, and that's a whole nother video. But if it is, then I know it's okay. I accept that I'm going through a challenging time and that the harmony will be there to carry me through. And the balance will get a little bit better, never equal, but a little bit better with time. Secondly, when life gets crazy, I do what I always do, which is make sure that self-care is on my daily to-do list. You can't let that be pushed to the bottom. No matter how crazy life gets, you must prioritize your self-care. whether it's your exercise, whether it's eating healthy, whether it's getting the sleep you need, meditating, taking walks to calm yourself down, whatever tools you have in your self-care toolbox, you must make sure that you are prioritizing them daily, because handling life requires a lot of energy. Self-care is what fills our tank, and you must be doing that on a daily basis to keep managing all of the demands of your life. Next, you need to lower your expectations a bit when it comes to one side or the other. I needed to be okay, that's the acceptance part, and lower my expectations of what I want to be doing on an ongoing basis in my business. I recognize that the most important thing, the one thing that cannot slip, is to be taking care of my current clients. I made sure that I was there for them. I didn't miss appointments. And when we were working together, I was fully engaged, which is the very next piece. We need to learn to train our brains when we are working to be fully engaged with our business. But when we turn our minds away and we have to take care of our family, our personal life, we need to be fully engaged with that too. We need to shut down the part of our brain that is focusing on the business, all of those little things we didn't get to. Be okay that you'll get to them. When we are fully engaged in what we are doing, when we are doing it, we are way more productive, way more focused, and what we're working on takes less time. Stop multitasking, stay fully engaged. Next, you need to communicate and delegate. You need to share with the people that are important in your life what's going on so they understand. I shared with my clients that life's a little nuts now. They don't need to know all the crazy details, but that I'm dealing with some stuff, but I will be there for them. And thankfully, they were great about changing appointments, rescheduling. If I had to cancel, being okay with that, because I was being upfront and honest with them. I was communicating. And I was communicating with my family too. When I felt like I was struggling, I let them know, and they were there to help. I delegated. I needed more help. My husband took over going to the supermarket and making sure that we had the things in the house that we needed. My children realized that when I was working, I could not stop and pick up the phone and chat with them, that maybe my phone calls weren't going to be quite as frequent. But it was all okay because I communicated first, and then I delegated where I can. Ask for help. Your family, your friends, your business associates, when you communicate and ask for help, you often can delegate some of the things that you've been handling by yourself. And those loved ones around you, those working people who respect you, they're going to be okay with it. Lastly, I spent a lot of time in gratitude, recognizing that despite the craziness that I was going through, I was incredibly blessed. I'm blessed that I still have my parents. I still have my in-laws, that they are still with me. Blessed that I have a business that I can be so incredibly flexible around, that it's my business. I can make the hours that I want to work. I can change things around. I did not take that for granted, and I spent a little bit of time every day being in gratitude. I was in tremendous gratitude that I've got siblings, a brother and sister who work with me as a team. And when it comes to helping my parents out, I never feel like I'm doing this alone. I've got them. And I feel gratitude for my own personal health, that I am healthy and strong enough and well enough to be able to do everything that I do. And that comes back to my self-care. So I guess I'm going to leave you with the message today that stop looking for life-work balance. It's just not out there. But work towards creating harmony in your life, meaning that you recognize that When you look over your days, you're able to say, I'm happy with the life that I'm living. Sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's out of whack and totally imbalanced, but it's okay. Learn to accept that life has those changes. Learn to always keep self-care as a high priority on your list. Be fully engaged, whatever you are doing, whether it's attending to your business or attending to your personal life, stay fully engaged and stop multitasking. Communicate and delegate. Delegate, let others know what's going on. And lastly, spend time in gratitude, especially when life is tough. And let me tell you, the last couple of months were tough. Gratitude will help get you through. So I hope that you have found this helpful. I would love to hear what tools you have in your toolbox that you use when your life turns upside down. Comment below. Let's have some communication and some conversation about this, because I know that we can all help each other. And please don't I want you to know that I don't take for granted you're spending a few minutes of your busy day listening into my videos. I do hope that you found this valuable, and I wish you a beautiful day and a wonderful life filled with harmony. So bye for now. I hope to see you soon.